Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll be going over my thoughts about the second closed beta of Kartrider Drift and giving my concerns about the game overall. Please keep in mind that this was my first week ever of playing Kartrider and my first week ever of playing Kartrider games in general. So my views and opinions may differ from people that have played Kartrider from the Korean server. So without further ado, let us begin. So, seeing that this is a beta and all that, none of our progress will be saved, will be transferred to the official release. So I didn't give a shit about my progress at all. Coming from playing Need for Speed racing games and the crew racing games, my expectations for this kart racing game are much lower than those two racing games. As in, I'll be a lot more forgiving with the driving physics in this kart racing game than both Need for Speed and the crew racing games. Speaking of driving physics, the driving physics in this kart racing game are pretty enjoyable. Although you would need to drift through every corner to avoid losing a lot of speed. It reminds me of Need for Speed games, such as the recent Need for Speed games like Need for Speed 2015, Need for Speed Payback, and Need for Speed Heat that require brake to drift through corners. Except in this game, you need to press a separate button to drift instead of brake to drift in Need for Speed games. But that isn't a problem, for me at least. Also, the cartoony graphics, as you can see, can appeal to many smaller audiences, such as kids and children, and casual players. While I much prefer the quote realistic graphics, this cartoony graphics doesn't bother me all that much. I like that there's two modes. One is called item mode, the other is called speed mode. The item mode is similar to like Mario Kart-esque, like where you collect those power-ups along the racetracks and use them to get ahead of your opponents or something like that. And the speed mode is like Need for Speed-esque and the Crew-esque, that you just race to the finish line as quick as possible, faster than your opponents. So it's like you could switch it up between item and speed. So if you feel like like playing events like Mario Kart, play item mode. If you feel like playing events like Need for Speed or the Crew, then play speed mode. Personally, I would play item mode, as this is like the only game on PC that I played that's similar to Mario Kart. If I want to just purely race, then I can just play Need for Speed or the Crew instead of Kartrider, for example. Also, unlike in both the Crew 1 and 2, where you only could play PvP solo, and in the Crew 1's case, the Crew versus Crew PvP is fucking dead, you can play with teams in Kartrider easily. Like, it would typically take about 30 seconds to 1 minute of finding 7 opponents for a PvP game. Just take a look at the queue. Just take a look at the fucking queue. You see there's a difference. It only takes like about 30 fucking seconds to find 7 opponents in a PvP game. You see? You can play PvP games very easily in Kartrider Drift, unlike both the Crew 1 and 2, where depending on the time of day, you can find PvP games easily, like in Kartrider, or you can be waiting for an eternity to find a fucking lobby during the dead hours of both the Crew 1 and 2, when majority of the player base, which are Europeans, are sleeping. So yeah, big difference between those two games. And speaking of teams, in Kartrider Drift, you can play with a teams of 2 against 3 other teams of 2, or you could play teams of 4 against another team of 4, which is pretty fun. Yeah, I found playing with teams pretty fun. You can also customize your kart and your character, similar to like in Need for Speed Heat and the Crew 2. But I didn't bother too much about the customization, as I just wanted to play the game during what would typically be the dead hours in both the Crew 1 and 2. And also for the fact that everything in the beta will be wiped out, so there's no point in even making your cars even look good. Now, onto the negative stuff. So there are some bad, like negative things about the game. So the first negative thing is the driving school, the tutorial. It doesn't fully explain everything. Like it doesn't explain that if you let go of the accelerator, then press the accelerator again, you get an instant boost after coming out of drift. The driving school doesn't say that. The tutorial doesn't mention that at all. People have to like figure it out by accident or by watching other people play the game. Another criticism of the game is that the drifting feels off and it feels very, very sensitive. Like people mentioned that the drifting in Kartrider Drift is way too sensitive compared to the original Crazy Arcade Racing Kartrider and Kartrider Rush Plus. I never participated in the first closed beta test of Kartrider Drift as I didn't know about Kartrider until the announcement of MapleStory 2 being shut down, but people mentioned that the game optimization in closed beta test 2 is worse than closed beta test 1. And now, this in my opinion would be the most terrible thing ever to happen in a game. When a game goes pay to win. And unfortunately for Kartrider Drift, I noticed that there are some pay to win elements in this game. Even in its second closed beta test, they're already attempting to add in pay to win elements into the game. As you can see from this racing pass, there's a free pass and there's a premium pass. And you know the premium pass is of course the paid pass, the one that you have to spend real money on. So this premium pass contains a rare card called Ace, and it has a chance to block missiles. So it's not guaranteed to block missiles, but it's a chance to block missiles. But regardless, it's still an advantage, a pay-to-win advantage. And another pay-to-win card is a rare card called Icebreaker. And this card has the ability to change water bombs into ice water bombs. And I did get hit by an ice water bomb by a stranger before, and it took a bit longer to get out of the ice water bomb. And that's still an advantage because if it takes a bit longer, that's like a few seconds advantage over normal water bombs. And a few seconds is a lot in a race. And the last pay-to-win card in the closed beta test 2 is a fine card called Steam Shark. And this card gives players the ability to have 3 item slots instead of 2 item slots. Which means you can have like 3 shields instead of 2 shields to protect yourself from getting shit thrown at you in an item race, which is a definite pay-to-win advantage. And then there are people that say, "Oh no, this is not pay-to-win. You get everything for free in the beta and the fucking beta, and it's premium pass. It's free. It's free. Everything is free in the fucking beta." What these idiots, morons, and retards don't fucking understand is that the premium pass it's only free in the fucking beta. In the official release, I guarantee you 100%, mark my words, that it won't be fucking free. It'll cost real money. Mark my words, fanboys. Any game that's pay to win is automatically trash. Need to be World, pay to win, trash. Need to be No Limits, pay to win, trash. And Kartrider Drift, it could be paid to win, so it could be trash, but since it's closed beta test, the devs have the ability to change that. But when it's not too late. But if they decide to keep the premium pass the way it is in the closed beta test 2, then the game will be trash on release. Some fanboys would say, "Oh, if item mode is pay to win, then play speed mode because speed mode's not pay to win. It's not. It's all about skill." And here's my counter argument. What if I don't want to play speed mode? What if I want to play item mode? Huh? What if I want to play fucking item mode? Huh? But at the same time, it's pay to win. When some players, pay to win players, have cards that give them the ability to have 3 item slots, turn water bombs into ice water bombs, and so on. Fucking bullshit. These fanboy retards, I swear, man.
As y'all could tell, I'm really anti-pay-to-win. I hate pay-to-win with a passion. I fucking hate it. If a game's pay-to-win, either I don't play it or I play it differently than intended. Okay, I think I got out what I wanted to say. So overall, yeah, it's a pretty fun little game, but it really needs to get rid of its pay-to-win elements on release, like the premium pass with cards. The premium pass, it can stay, like premium pass in general, it can stay, but what I'm talking about is remove those cards with those perks in the premium pass. And also, the driving school should like explain everything properly as well to newcomers. And yeah, that would be it. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you next time. See you soon, friends.